What? Okay, well, welcome everybody. I think it's nice that you came, and it's nice that you meet each other. For me, this is always the main thing, that people come here, they meet people who haven't met maybe for a long time, they chat, they have a good time together. And maybe in between we can maybe learn something, I don't know. I see this man is probably the most important man in the room because he has the control over the air conditioner. So be nice to him. Right? But again, I don't know if Tommy said it, usually over there is colder than here, so if you suffer from the cold, then you have to go there. If you are too hot there, then just go to that side so we can even it out a bit. It's like, you know, the room is very high, and so, you know, the air circulates. The air is something that is living. We cannot just have it, here I want it like this, and here it should not be like this. So this we all know intellectually, but sometimes we behave as if we don't know these natural laws, isn't it? And so also one big part of Dharma practice is, as long as it doesn't damage you, then try to practice patience and bear it, so that the courage of being uncomfortable is kind of increasing. The courage of being uncomfortable is a little bit like a muscle. How many of you have been to India? Many. So you think Indian people are patient with uncomfortable situations, more patient than we are, we Westerners are? Yes or no? Yes. Well, this one is like, it's, you know, I don't know what I mean. It's like, you know, it's very safe way of saying something, because the one who's seeing it interprets it. So yes, they are. Because why? Because they have no choice, right? And we are trying to make the environment more comfortable, and more this and more that, more technology. And as we can see, as we're doing that, on the way we are destroying the planet for the price of being comfortable. And it's just habit, really. You know, and having an attitude also. You know, I come from Switzerland, we have perfect heatings. I can't stand when it's cold. Israelis pay money to go to cold countries. Swiss people pay money to come to hot countries. Well, maybe not so much anymore, because it's also hot now in Switzerland. But we don't have air conditions yet, right? So then we have to bear with it, and that's it. If there's no choice, you know, so then that's it. You bear with it, and all of a sudden you might notice that you get used to it. I know you don't like to hear these things, but this is how it is. Here in Israel, you have perfect air conditioners, so you're used that the temperature is cool whenever you're in the house, so you can't stand the heat. You know, people think, oh, you come from a hot country, you must be used to the heat. It's not like this. People think, oh, you come from a cold country, you must be used to the cold. No, I'm not, because I'm used to have warm apartments when outside is very cold. Yeah, and then I get really uncomfortable. So this is how we are. Anyway, people are still, hello. People are still arriving. Now, what I would like to say also at the beginning, if I didn't recognize, or if I can't remember your name, I mean, this is it. Don't expect me to, even if I know you well. So I do recognize your face. I do recognize your, maybe not where I saw you, but I know that I know you, or I think I know. That I know you or I don't know you. But, you know, sometimes names just gone. Who can relate to this? Oh, Shaket, no, come on, it's too early. No, really, like somebody that you know closely, like Elisheva or, you know. So, and then I rack my brain, as if just saying, look, I don't remember your name, because I know that it hits something that we're going to talk about today, is your ego. You don't like it when I don't remember your name, is it? No. You don't care. You wait. Yeah? It's okay. So, you know, anyway, what I'm going to say today, if it applies to you, then fine. Maybe you can recognize something and you see that You know, that it's helpful. If it doesn't apply to you, just be happy that it doesn't apply to you. Don't get upset, you know. Also, what I will be talking about is Buddhism. Yeah? Not psychology, where you try to have, you know, kind of just a happy mind in difficult situations. Yes, of course, that is part of it, but that's only a small step. The huge step in Buddhism, or the goal, is really, really to recognize on a very deep level why you suffer. And this is the, you know, this is the bad news. They say it's not the outside conditions. Oh, nobody to blame but ourselves. But they're not just saying that, they also say kind of, even if you cannot change the conditions, you can change your mind, like the attitude towards it. So it's all about attitudes, it's all about how we look at things, it's all about understanding that the way we see things is not correct, right? But the goal is really, really, really high, right? Is that you develop a mind that sees reality as it is. For example, impermanence, that everything will fall apart anyway. But we don't have to, you know, we don't have to work for things to fall apart. They fall apart by themselves. Or that wherever we go, where even the outside conditions are perfect and fantastic and wonderful, it doesn't take long. And something comes, but sometimes small, sometimes big, which makes you frustrated, upset. Sometimes on a very, very subtle level. So if you're not very mindful, you don't notice it, because we use antidotes. We have strategies not to feel the pain of body or mind, you know, and then we kind of distract ourselves and we do something that, but then again, if we keep doing that, then again, something else happens and we have to change again, and we change again, and we change and change and change. And as we change, as I said, we become more exigent, no, exit doesn't exist, more wanting, more demanding, more needy, more nutniks kind of thing. You know, not being able to bear quietly whatever is there, because when we can't change it. I mean, how many of you know Shantideva? I know that some of you have been during COVID, right? We were going, I think, through the 6th chapter, actually, of Shantideva, which was perfect. It wasn't planned like this, but it happened, and it's all about patience. And he gives us such wonderful examples. The best is verse number 10. What is the point of getting upset of something that you cannot change? Go ahead and change it. What is the point of getting upset of something that you can't change? If you can't change it, you have to learn to accept it. Otherwise you suffer double. Otherwise you have the second arrow. You know that story from the Buddha. It's such a wonderful story. You know the suffering that comes from outside, that's like the first arrow. We can't totally say it's not your fault, right? Because you're karma, but at the moment it's not your fault. But the second arrow, you shoot yourself. You get upset, you want it to have changed, but you cannot, and then you get nasty with others, and then we create karma and things like that. So we do have some kind of control, but not over the outside world, right? Yeah. So living, you know, kind of developing a mind or uncovering the potential of our mind, for this, somebody which then was called the Buddha, which means the awakened one, he gave us all these many methods. And many of these methods then also kind of became cultural, right? So kind of, you know, it mixed with culture, and then sometimes it's difficult to understand what is now really Buddhism and what is culture. When I came over, like 2 days ago, I was sitting on the plane, and for the first time there were about 20 Arabs on the plane, a group. It's the first time I see Swiss police with machine guns in the airport, and I was wondering, I thought, what's going on? And then I saw them coming, but it was very peaceful. There was absolutely no problem. The women were wearing their abayas and, you know, their headscarves. The men were wearing like salwar kameez, you know, these long pants and the long shirts. And so the guy who was sitting next to me, I just told the story to David, it was really funny, who was sitting next to me, he got on the plane, he was so upset, because he had to leave his carry-on luggage, you know, at the entrance, and they would go into the vault, but I paid for it, and they said they didn't get the money, and blah, blah, blah. So I said, then, you know, you have a form here, you can complain. No, it's not about the money. Okay, then don't complain. Anyway, but so I said, and it's true, the person at the beginning of the plane, very surprisingly, was very unpleasant. He was in a bad mood. He was very unpleasant. It was the first time I see this on Swiss Airlines. So El Al would, you know. Yeah, it's true. Sorry, it's just a fact. It's not that I mind, yeah, but it's not typical for Swiss. So I said, look, he's nervous, and they thought there was too much luggage, and because where we were, it was still empty. So of course that's upsetting. You know, this becomes a big thing. In your mind, you paid money to bring this on board, and you cannot, and there's still space. Oh, it's disaster. So I kind of managed to calm him down a little bit by pointing out that this person, yes, he made a mistake, and he should have let you in because there's still space, but he didn't know. He just assumed all these people coming with all these bags and stuff. So he calmed down. Then after a while he says, anyway, this is how it should be. We should stop all the religions, and then the Arabs can fly with Jews, and this and that. Religion is no good. And then he looks at me. And he says, but you guys, you're okay. As if Buddhism didn't have any problems between each other. This is a big misconception, you people. You know, don't think that because he said, you're polite, you just go like this. I said, well, I wonder where he's been. So the story was, he was in Losang, and there's, you know, masses of tourists. And so some people came like this, and probably Tibet Lamas, and he gave them their table, kind of. They had finished, and they said, look, you can come here. And they were so polite and said, thank you, and this and that. I said, yeah, okay, well, because you were kind to them, so then they were kind to you. But don't think that when there is a problem, or when there's danger, or when, you know, that it's all, but that when we talk about loving kindness, compassion, and all this, that it's just, you know, nicey, peaceful, you don't react, you think about karma, you think about emptiness, you think about impermanence, and you let everything happen to you. That's a big misconception. And this is why I think now at the moment, here in Israel, with whatever is going on, I read the Jerusalem Post every day, even in Switzerland, on my telephone, because it's the only one I can get for free. And I am informed, maybe very biased, I don't know, from the Jerusalem Post, what's going on in the country. So I see what's going on, and I find it terrible and very sad. But also I said to Nif, when I came with him this morning, I said, look, I've been coming here since the year 2000, right? And year 2000 was the second Intifada. People in Europe said, don't go there, you know, there's bombs flying around, which is true, it was. But I came anyway, not because I'm so courageous, but because my teacher told me to come. And I thought, okay, if I get, you know, blown up in a bomb, then that's it. There will be some benefit, who knows what, but this is it. And I prepared myself mentally in the meditation to walk into a bomb. So I would lose the fear, actually, a little bit. And then I came, and it wasn't as drastic as they show on the news. You know, don't trust the media. I mean, it's like, oh. Anyway, but I came, and then I also knew a little bit about the situation with the Palestinians and the bombs and this and that, and I thought, like, what am I going to tell these people? They will want some answers from me, how to solve the situation. I mean, I have no answers. And then I told them, every year I come, I have this thought. People will come to the talks. They will want a solution from me, which I cannot give them. So now if he would like to rather maybe go to the beach or go home, or whatever, this is fine. Right? So this is it. What we also learn in Buddhism, and we're going to do meditation or a reflection on it, is how dependent we are on so many other beings for each second of our survival. And it's a meditation that I stole, I'm not kind of coming up with new things anymore, I'm too old for that. So it's a meditation I stole from Rick Hansen, so maybe some of you know him. He's sending out these things when you are kind of signed up on the newspaper. Very nice reflections. He's a psychologist and a Buddhist, and I guess, and he really knows the mind. So it is a reflection on dependence. So don't come and say, "Oh, that was a wonderful meditation." Not from me, okay? Also, please do not admire me so much. I don't know how much time I have to say it. It frightens me. Let me just be a part of you and, a friend and not kind of something very special. I'm not. I'm just an ordinary human being. Also, I'm not even a good Buddhist. When you think only good Buddhists don't get angry. Although, because I'm living alone no, it's not true. I'm living with people all the time. I don't have an own place. So since the center where I am now, they don't have a room there. I cannot stay in the center. So I live with very kind people who put up with me and give me a room and a bed. And, so then because I'm dependent on them, I don't even have to make an effort not to get angry at them. Because I know I'm depending on them. And it's not an intellectual thing. It's not a calculating thing. It's very natural. It's very normal. When you start to understand how dependent you are, of course I could go to other people. So many people have offered. I'm really lucky. I'm really fortunate. When somebody asks me, where will you stay when you go back to Switzerland? I say, I don't know. It doesn't mean that I don't have a place to stay. It means I haven't chosen yet where I will go. So when we understand how dependent we are, it really brings down the ego a little bit, and it makes us kind of nicer people. And it makes life easier, If we think, this whole thing about being independent, this is my this and my that. I'm not talking about my country, okay? I'm not going there. If we want to discuss it, we can, but as I'm saying, I don't have a solution for this situation. As somebody said yesterday, how can you not get angry at these people? I understand that one gets angry at these people. It's easy for me to say, oh, practice patience, karma, emptiness, all this, because I'm from Switzerland, right? I can go back there. I don't know how I would react if we would be taken over by such a government. I have no clue. I have no guarantee that I wouldn't get angry, but the only thing I know is that anger doesn't help. This is the thing. It's just it's something, anger comes up when we don't get what we want, and anger is it's giving us a lot of energy so we don't get depressed. Yeah, so at least we think we're doing something. But, going to demonstrations every Saturday, I really admire those people. I will go as well tonight. I will go alone. I just go and see what's going on. I won't carry a flag. But I'll just go. I'll go in my robes and, and see and try to be some part of it. But without making a big show and without just to be part of it. And it's good, I think. And somebody told me that these demonstrations are very peaceful. So that's what will impress, maybe not the other side, but definitely the world. And the world has not such a good view on this country as you may sometimes notice when you go on holiday and you say you're from Israel. I come and say I tell people I'm from Switzerland, so they usually go, in India they go, oh, Sweden, what a nice country. They don't even know where Switzerland is. They don't even know that it exists. That's the best. Yeah. So in Sweden also, they're kind of not big problem kind of thing. So, but it really gives a good view. Not that it's important so much how the world sees you, I think, but it's like, for me, it's always very impressive when I see these peaceful demonstrations. And I remember years ago with Tona, I went for one day when they were walking through Arab villages in the north, mostly Stephen Folder, Arab villages and Jewish villages, and up there they were wearing a kata, like a white scarf. They were in silence. They were not allowed to talk. Anybody has been participating in this peace walk?
Yes.
And that was like many years ago. You know, so it's like, what's his name? Ronnie Dankner was still here, and he drove me there, and then they came to pick me up in the evening. I was so impressed. I was so impressed with this silence, but then it was more, you know, Palestinians, Arabs, Jews, kind of trying to get together. Not that it made a lot of difference. It's like, not that it made a lot of difference in the outside situation, but I'm pretty sure it made a difference in people's minds. And this is how we're going to change the world. It's not possible otherwise. You know, I mean, that's what the Buddha would say. So, yeah, but I don't know. I wish I could give you a remedy, you know, what to do in that present situation, but I cannot. I can talk about karma, I can talk about impermanence, I can talk about emptiness, which I will today. That, you know, the wrong views that we have, the instinctive wrong views that everybody has, but what to do with such a government? Well, do you think they would listen to me? They don't listen to thousands of people that are from their own kind. How are they going to listen to Buddhism? They wouldn't even listen to the Buddha. So because we're not omnipotent. Yeah, please just come in, whoever is there. Just come in. Hi. Right. Okay, so we'll try to do a little, yeah, there's, if you can sit on the floor, then there is here. And otherwise, okay. It's okay? You've got a space where you're comfortable. Try to be as comfortable as possible. You can move also, it's fine. I have a fairly newly operated knee, so I will move a lot also. Okay, so try to sit as much as you can with a straight back. And always, you know, those who meditate a lot, be relaxed, be comfortable, be at ease. Try to be at ease. Let's let go of, you know, what's happening and this and that. What is important at the moment is the present, right here. It's difficult to let go, I know. It's difficult not to be worried. It's normal almost to be worried and to be angry and to get upset and, you know, have all your values being trampled on and these kind of things by people of power. This is what's most upsetting. But try to just to be relaxed. And even, you know, and even to be happy to be alive. Sometimes for some people, not even this is possible anymore. It's very sad when they're so depressed that the attachment comes as an attachment to non-existence. We are attached to existence, but the way we want to exist, the way we want to have it, because what I want, that's the right thing. Try to find this very kind of harsh and hard attitude, expectations. So we'll try to look on, you know, on dependence, how dependent we are on things. So Rick Hansen, he starts with, let's try a little experiment. Stop breathing. Really do it. Just for a few seconds. Maybe for a few dozen seconds. And see how it feels. And of course, before you faint, yeah, it's just an experiment. to, in an intimate way, to experience a deep truth that we live dependently, relying on 10,000 things for physical survival, happiness, love, and success. Because within half a minute of no air, most people are uncomfortable. After 1 minute, they're panicking. After 4 minutes, they're brain dead or severely damaged. Something that we kind of, take from the environment very freely every day, in and out. We get in the good stuff, actually, oxygen. We breathe out whatever needs to be transformed without any thought. Second by second, our life and mind require oxygen. The plants that exhale it, the sun that drives photosynthesis, and other stars blowing up billions of years ago to make every atom of oxygen in the next breath you take. Try to enjoy your breathing in, breathing out. Just maybe see the difference, also dependent on the air conditioning. If we would be sitting outside, it wouldn't be so pleasant. So that's for the body. Think about your mind. Think about the people you rely on. The touches, the intention, the caring, or the medicines, wisdom, teachings, therapies, civil society, technologies, or your own good effort last year that you profit from today. Maybe this is not from Rick Hansen, but a very nice reflection is, think about breakfast you ate today. Picture it in your mind, make it real. What did you eat? It's now in your stomach as maybe already vomit or something. When you put it in your mouth, it was very appealing. You did not make it. Maybe you put it together, I don't deny that. But the bread or the granola or the fruits or whatever, I don't know how the bakeries are today. Maybe they're more like factories, but still, somebody has to get up very early morning so that you can get your bread, especially if it's croissant. You don't buy them in the evening, you buy them in the morning, out of the oven. Okay, they may be, pre-cooked and then heated, but it looks like a real, fresh French croissant. Although maybe it was frozen before, but who cares? As long as it looks like that, the appearance. But when I was a kid, the baker, we had a restaurant, and the bakers would come after their work. They got up every day at 2 o'clock in the morning to work very hard. They didn't have all these machines yet at that time. Maybe now they have, but still, somebody has to make machines. Somebody has to produce these things. How about a little thank you to all the beings that produced what you ate for breakfast today? Just one breakfast. And if you're like me, you don't eat breakfast because I'm not hungry in the morning, then don't go, oh, don't eat breakfast. I had tea. Water came out of a tap. Somebody put that tap into the wall, into the house, in a water system. I just have to turn it, it comes out. How amazing. We take it for granted. Only when the water doesn't come, then we notice that, hey, something is wrong. Where's the guy that put it in? Most of you, I'm sure, took a shower. Drove in a car or in somebody else's car to come here. If he would have had to walk, oh, I would have had to start last night.